And as you mentioned, like we're the first country in the world to do this. The agricultural sector is one of the last sectors in Denmark that you're working around a CO2 tax with. They've acknowledged for years, they know we gotta adapt, we gotta change, and also have their like footprint on.
Well, we're thrilled to have our next guest with us, Anna Trillingsgaard from the Embassy of Denmark. So first of all, Anna, tell me a little bit about the agriculture of Denmark. Paint me a picture of what you all have over there.
Yes, so Denmark has a really big agri-food sector. In fact, 60% of Danish land is used for agriculture, and about 2/3 of this is used for producing animal feed. So the imprints of agriculture is kind of everywhere you look around at Denmark. So it's very visible because it does take up that much amount of our land. And I think we're a bit over 5 million people, but we have 30 million pigs. So also an example of like, we're a huge livestock producing country too.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so tell us about, you all are implementing a carbon tax on livestock emissions, and it's starting in 2030?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, and it is you're the first country to do this. I mean, we throw around the word groundbreaking so often, but this really could be groundbreaking. First of all, just tell us a little bit about the tax.
Yeah, so I think maybe to understand why we came to the tax, we need to like rewind a little bit.
Absolutely.
So in 2019, Denmark passed a law that greenhouse gas emissions should be reduced by 70% compared to 1990 levels in 2030. So this kind of created the framework of like, okay, this is a call to action. And then later in 2021, you decided that by 2030, agricultural emissions should also be reduced by between 55 and 65%. So this is kind of the context, like why did we end up having to use all of these tools that we now have in the agreement we made last year? And that brought us to the tax. The tax will be implemented in 2030. So 5 years from now, we're going into it. But it's also to give farmers years to prepare and to start implementing solutions now. Yesterday I spoke about the feed additive initiative, a new mandatory requirement to already now start making sure that we lower emissions and that we make it easier for farmers in 2030, hopefully.
Yeah. So how does the tax work exactly?
I'd say the tax will work as a model where the $18 in 2030 is already when you're counted in a base reduction of 60%. So this is already some calculations you've done to make sure the farmers won't be driven out of business. So you've already started moving on some of the things here. Then the most important part really for the tax is that it's not a tax that is just taken away from the farmers. The tax is all about the revenue will be funneled back into the sector. So it will be invested into research, into new technologies, and into making sure that we develop the right tools that the farmers are needing along the way.
Because there have to be incentives, obviously, and so that was part of it as well, I understand.
Yes, and like the whole idea is that we have to keep developing new technologies. Like what we know now is not enough. So we need to keep like a mechanism going where we can keep making sure we have new tools available.
So how did this pass? I mean, farmers obviously did vote for this because it was voted on, and I mean, everybody came together on that. It was interesting to me too, that, I mean, farmers did vote for this. How do you think they came to the conclusion like this is something that we can get behind?
So I think this is like, the agricultural sector is one of the last sectors in Denmark that you're working around a CO2 tax with. So I think they've acknowledged for years, they know we gotta adapt, we gotta change. And I think they came at a time where like, this is a model we can handle. We've been hands-on in the negotiation process together with the trade unions, together with municipalities, with the environmental groups. So like really this is the best possible outcome that they could also be part of and also have their like footprint on.
And to that degree too, what has the response been from everybody? What has the response been from agriculture, from policy? Have you heard a little bit of, and around the world too, what has the response been?
Well, I think starting in Denmark, I think generally there's been like a very positive acceptance of this. I think Danish voters generally have been voting for climate for many years now. So there's a general broad support in Denmark for it. And of course, there's groups who might wish things to be a little bit differently, either in one direction or the other. But I think generally there's an acceptance that we've landed in a good spot, and now we're in a huge implementation phase, and we'll see how this goes. And as you mentioned, we're the first country in the world to do this. So it's very exciting, and I think when you're looking at how people have received it elsewhere, it's with a lot of awe.
Okay.
But also maybe a little bit of a good luck thing.
Okay, right. Good luck to you. Yes, good luck to you. Yeah, I wondered about that. The response around the world, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think obviously Denmark is a really small country, so it's a complex thing to implement in Denmark, but we're of the size where it's maybe manageable right now, and hopefully we can create some experiences, some lessons learned that can be drawn upon by other countries, maybe not implementing the exact same thing as we're going to do now, but hopefully this can inspire towards something new.
And do you hope that you're kind of the guinea pig almost of this?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the word that we would use.
No, probably not.
But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a process with a steep learning curve, I'm sure. So there's a lot of things to figure out, and that's also why we've established a ministry dedicated to implementing this specific agreement, because we do acknowledge it is such a big work, and it has to work fast. So it's a huge task, and it's really a big priority to make this happen.
And forgive me, I didn't ask about the ministry. That's right. You guys created a complete, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I think, so the agreement really spills into a lot of the different ministries we have in Denmark. And to make sure that this is something that we can streamline fast enough and do it as a transparent process, establishing this ministry, which has the sole purpose of implementing this, of making sure that we have thought through as much as possible and making it a success, hopefully. That's the reasoning why, you're prioritizing this much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this tax is a part of a broader agreement called Green Denmark. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And talk a little bit, because that includes investments in, and you mentioned a little bit too, that it's going to go back to the farmers and whatnot, but also to wetland restoration and other climate-friendly initiatives. Can you talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
so there's different parts of the agreement. So there will be money set aside. So Denmark has a lot of peatlands, which is also emitting CO2. And that's why part of the agreement is taking some of this out of production and re-wetting it. And that, of course, follows with compensation for the farmers who then will have less production acres in their hands. There's also lots of new funding. We've established the Green Area Fund, which is, the point is to support the farmers who are going to be part of these re-wetting programs, and a huge afforestation project too, to increase the amount of forestry we have in Denmark. And then that's also with a view towards biodiversity, of course. Denmark is a small country and we have water everywhere, so making sure that we can follow the water framework directives from the EU, making sure that we have good nitrogen practices, also a very important part of this agreement. So it counts into a lot of different things. And then there's also the whole biochar subsidy scheme, which is also a whole new thing to factor into this, and a whole new technology that is really being pushed through this agreement. So lots of components, really.
Do you see other countries being able to, you spoke about Denmark being small, but do you see other countries maybe being able to do this?
I think what you need to take away from what Denmark has done so far is the collaborative model that made it happen. I think that's my core message when I was speaking yesterday, when we're talking here. It's about getting a framework set where you can actually create the right discussions. You can create a foundation for mutual understanding and a foundation to make the progress. And the policy tools you might end up with might look different, but I believe that this inclusive process where you try and like get the stakeholders in who are sometimes very different in their opinions, but still funnel them into a place where like, okay, we have some common ground here. Yeah. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. How exciting is it for you personally to be part of this?
I think it's very exciting. Like, I mean, it's been a lot of fun going around and talking about this. And with the presentation yesterday, a lot of people come up to like ask more questions, being super curious, and I get it, because it is like, I'm also like, this is super exciting, and I'm like,
I mean, it's scary, but it's exciting too.
Exactly,
it's exciting because it's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Which is, to be a groundbreaker is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I can't take too much credit for it myself.
We're giving you all the credit in the podcast. We're giving you all the credit, Anna. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to add about this tax and Denmark being the first country to do this? And
for me, just hope to inspire with the model of inclusiveness and bringing the stakeholders together. I think that has proven to be really valuable in the Danish context, and hopefully something other countries might be able to use, not even countries maybe, but even at municipality level or whatever, but like learning from this approach that you can actually move quite far with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Awesome.